Got my Star Wars shirt on, I'm wearing some green pants to represent Baby Yoda 2.0, so let's just do this thing. I am going to be talking about episodes 1 through 4 of The Mandalorian, but this is going to be a spoiler talk, so if you do not want to be spoiled, this is not the video for you. So rather than dumping everything at once, The Mandalorian seems to be airing at one episode a week, and I happen to be a fan of this traditional way of viewing shows, so I'm fine with this schedule. It lengthens the time for me, and I think a lot of people, to just enjoy a show, engage with other people, and speculate what's going to happen. It's a prolonged bonding experience. I want to state up front that I am really enjoying The Mandalorian. There's been a lot that I like and very little that I've felt meh about, so let's get into that. Something I noticed even in the first episode is that, to me at least, this show has felt the most grounded and tangible piece of just overarching Star Wars story or stories being told. Keep in mind, I am comparing The Mandalorian to all of the Star Wars movies, and that includes Rogue One and Solo, not just the Star Wars sagas. And not only does this new show clearly tie in with the movies, I think this show is meant to be enjoyed by even just a casual viewer. The books, the comics, and the animated series, that's a completely separate conversation from this particular video. So why do I feel that this show is more grounded? The world that has been crafted here, it feels like a real place that I could actually step into. Why? Why? What makes this show so different from the other Star Wars movies? Especially stories like Rogue One, where I think a lot of people would say that it definitely had one of the most grounded feeling to it. And Rogue One definitely looks to be like the most lived in compared to some of the other Star Wars movies. But for me, Rogue One still feels out of reach. All of the Star Wars movies feel just out of reach to me. I think The Mandalorian feels more tangible because this story is so clearly focused on one guy with no underlying intergalactic war or the worry or threat of an autocracy or dictatorship. Because this series is much more focused and small scale, so to speak, this is a big factor in why it feels more real to me, and I'm just really enjoying that. My husband even pointed out that while the other Star Wars films feel like we're being told a story, with The Mandalorian, it feels like we are experiencing it. Fun fact, I had to look up the timeline for this show because myself, and I think many people, have been thrown off by Baby Yoda 2.0. It's not Yoda, by the way. It's just the same species as Yoda. And the only other things that we happen to know about this cute little green guy is the fact that he is referred to as the child, is 50 years old, and is just mega powerful in the Force. And right now, I'm sure many of you may be screaming at the screen that in the show, there have been characters that have referenced the fall of the Empire. And look, I'm a fan of Star Wars. My husband is a fan of Star Wars. He may even be a bigger fan of Star Wars than I am, but the point is, we were very confused about the timeline for the first 3 episodes. Like I said, sweet Baby Yoda 2.0 was just really throwing us off, and we were honestly thinking that the characters were talking about the fall of a different empire, an empire that may have fallen hundreds of years ago, and not, the empire that Darth Vader was involved in. What we should all be focusing on, really, is The Mandalorian takes place a few years after the fall of the Galactic Empire, the one with bacon face and badass Darth Yoda.
Vader! I meant Vader!
Oh no. Wonderful. I'm glad we got that cleared up. So let's just move on to the other things that I'm enjoying. As much as I enjoy the laser swords, as I'm sure many of us do, I've been really enjoying seeing what the other 99% of the galactic population does and uses to defend themselves and other people. So there have been various blasters, there has been hand-to-hand combat, spears, knives, and much more. By the way, since we have no name for the titular Mandalorian, I am going to, for everyone's sake, I'm going to call him Mando for short. Thank you. So speaking of Mando, he is a badass gray character. Gray character? Morally gray. I am a big fan of morally gray characters because they are by design not as cut and dry or black and white as heroes and villains tend to be, you know? And Mando is very much a mysterious guy, which in turn kind of makes the entire show mysterious. Really enjoying that. Mando does have an advantage though, because at the beginning, like right off the bat, he is established as a badass bounty hunter and part of a mysterious group called the Mandalorians, who seem to hold a legendary status even amongst regular citizens in the galaxy. So sign me up. Tell me more. Before I forget, I do want to state that while I love the fact that, yes, Mando is a badass dude, but he's not untouchable. If he was untouchable, to me, that would become very boring very quickly. So we've seen Mando paired up with other characters, particularly in situations that, frankly, I think otherwise he may not have been able to overcome and succeed in that particular situation. So a good example is Mando and Cara Dune. They seem to be on pretty even fighting skill level, although I may even say that Dune might just be a little bit better than Mando. But anyways, let's not give like the full spotlight to Mando, as cool as he is. But before touching base on a couple specific minor characters, so shifting the focus a little bit, I want to state that I do think the show has done a pretty good job of writing the minor characters to have some depth to them, to have some intrigue to them. And minor characters, whether they are temporary or not, they are just as important to world building as major characters. So a couple interesting minor characters has been Cara Dune, who she is an ex-rebel shock trooper turned mercenary, and she ends up teaming up with Mando to save a farming community. I wouldn't doubt if we see more of her in the future. That's not a character that you only show once. And plus, I think that not only do the characters, but I think the actors, they have really nice chemistry on screen, especially when they're doing some fisticuffs and what have you. And another cool character is, and I don't know how to say his name, cuuute. The moisture farmer who helped Mando locate in episodes 2 and 3? In episodes 2 and 3, I believe, locate Yoda 2.0 and also help Mando get his stuff back from the pilfering Jawas. I really feel like I want to somehow adopt and make it seem natural, his thing of saying, I have spoken. I want to bring that into my own being and vocabulary. That's a great thing. A general statement that I want to say, this is not something specifically directed at Star Wars. Not all minor characters need to become major characters. Often enough, a side character is at their most interesting and sometimes palatable as long as they remain a side character. Just putting that out there. Okay, so other bullet point things that I have been really enjoying. The composer for these series, he is a Swedish man whose name I am not going to try, so that's going to be on screen somewhere. Loving the music. It definitely has a unique sound compared to the rest of the Star Wars films. Great job there. Overall, I think the show has been well acted. Not everyone has been spot on, but nothing that really sticks out and that makes me enjoy the show any less. I've been enjoying the pacing of the show. I can understand why some people may see it as a little slow, but for me, I am enjoying the progress of the story that is being told and that is unfolding. I think it has a nice ebb and flow to it. And also, the show looks fantastic, and this, of course, encompasses costume design, set design, locations used, I'm blanking, cinematography, practical and CGI effects. Have all the CGI effects been spot on? No, but I think overall they've looked pretty dang good. And I think what also helps is the fact that this show clearly has a bigger budget than a typical television show. There's that. Yeah. Okay, now I would like to shift over the attention to the part of the show that I have felt a little about, and that is specifically episode 4. I think it was a combination of the writing and the directing. Let me explain. So Jon Favreau wrote the first 4 episodes. I've definitely been enjoying the story that he is currently telling and presenting to us, except for one element that happened in episode 4. Now keep in mind, this is just how I feel, and perhaps some of you or all of you may enjoy this side story that I'm about to explain. I was not the biggest fan of the potential romance between Mando and Omera, the widowed farmer and single mother. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a good romance, but for me, I think it would have been nice to have seen Mando connect with the community as a whole and want to stay because of all of them, and not almost solely because of a romantic partner. Something I would love to see in film and television in general is friendships, families, and found families being just as important as romantic relationships. Sometimes I feel like Hollywood and Western media, they believe that a story is only at its most interesting is if there is a romantic relationship at its core. Let's mix it up a little bit, shall we? So shifting it over to the directing part, episode 4 didn't feel as strong compared to the first 3 episodes. So Bryce Dallas Howard, she is an actress and a first-time director. She directed episode 4. I want to state that I don't think she did a poor job. I just think that directing actors is a bit of a weak point for her. There was just something a little bit off, something a little bit awkward in how some of the scenes and pieces of dialogue were shot, particularly like in the pacing. Again, she's not bad. If she's given the opportunity, I think she can improve very quickly on this. Okay, I have saved possibly the best thing for last. Mando! Buddy, you're doing great. You're very interesting. You're a wonderful character. You deserve the spotlight. But sweet baby Yoda 2.0, who's not really the Yoda, he is so cute.
Bonk.
I'm cool. So, the puppeteers and the CGI artists, y'all are doing some great work out there bringing this adorable character to life. Fine work, okay? And I feel like it's safe to say that he is bringing much joy not only to the viewers of this show, but I think it's reaching people even outside of this particular bubble. And I know this would be like, I don't know, like capitalism and consumerism at its finest, but if there is ever a stuffed animal version of Baby Yoda 2.0, I'm here for it. Cool. So Mando, tying this in, whatever. I don't know. I'm too excited. Hopefully I'm making sense. Mando, badass bounty hunter. Even he realizes and recognizes that Yoda 2.0, should I just call him Baby Yoda for, I don't know, clarity's sake or something? So Baby Yoda, the child, he recognizes something special about him. Yes, there is. And also, he's just way too cute to harm. I agree. And I also want to, as I hopefully have your attention, anyways, I want to put a little bit of focus on, I think, some of Baby Yoda's finest moments. The first one is just touching things that he shouldn't be touching, as babies do. Calmly holding a cup of soup as Dune and Mando just flex on who is the best fighter. The fascinating and slightly disturbing realization that Baby Yoda can eat frogs alive. All right. And just using the Force as a baby. Amazing. Baby Yoda's so distracting. Okay, that is all of my thoughts so far on the first 4 episodes. Again, super enjoying it. Things I would love to learn about is, of course, what is the story behind Baby Yoda? Although I very recently learned that George Lucas, he wants Yoda and his species to remain a bit of a mystery, so I'm not really sure how much we will be able to learn about Baby Yoda. We'll see. And also, Mando, will he come across another situation or people that will tempt him to leave the Mandalorian lifestyle? Will Mando get his own jetpack? That seems to be a staple for them. Give Mando a jetpack! I don't know why I said it like that. Anyways, it'd be really cool. So, okay, what are all of your thoughts on the show? What have been some of your favorite moments, elements of the show? Has there been anything that you felt a little bit disappointed in? Let's talk about this in the comments below. Please and thank you. Let's geek out together. Again, this is a bonding experience. What I was saying is, whatever, English. If you enjoyed this review, you may also enjoy my review of season 2 of The Punisher, which I think might be right here or something. And on a very different spectrum, compose myself. On a very different spectrum, you may also enjoy my talk of Eddie Brock from Venom and why I think he's a pretty awesome dude. I think that might be right here. Okay, but that is all. It's actually a good thing that I'm ending this now. That is all I have for you today, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!